Hey, this is Jason with Rambling 4x4 Adventures, and today we're actually installing a lift kit on my 23 Nissan Frontier, so check it out. All right, so here is what we're doing. That's a little bit different, is we are installing parabolic springs in the rear, and those are the shocks. Okay, so I have two of the Koni shocks there. So we just jacked the car up. We're going to take both of the rear tires off, let the drive axle down, take everything apart, put in these new springs. Right here are the coilover front springs that we have with the, I think these are Koni 82s. That will go in, and these are actually very simple. They got 3 bolts on the top, 1 on the bottom. Just swap them out, not a big deal. So I'll keep you posted as we move along. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take off that upper and lower bolt on the sway bar, let that drop down. We're going to pull these guys out here and here to give that room. I think I got to pull that pin up for that, and then take the bolts off on the end there, and then underneath here, and then we should be able just to slide the new piece in, bolt it in with the U-bolts, and we should be good to go. The U-bolts are a little bit bigger here, so we probably have to drill this out and paint it, but it really shouldn't be that big a deal to swap this out. So we got the truck jacked up. Becca just unbolted the sway bar. You can kind of see it hanging down there. The next step is we're going to undo the bottom bolts of the shock, and then I want to go ahead and take these bolts off the end of the springs. And then we'll undo the U-bolts and take the spring out, put the new spring in, put the bolts in, add the new shocks, and we're done. So the only thing I'm struggling with right now is getting this clip out. That thing is a beast in there, so I want to get that loose so that this brake line has some sway when I lower the axle. Alright, so on this area here, you need to take this top piece loose, and what happens is your socket's not in all the way, honey. Push it. Then you can take this plate out, and then the leaf spring slides out. We got the leaf springs out, shocks loose, sway bar loose. The new springs will slide right there on those bushings. The front ones just have a bolt, and then here's the old springs. Pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's pressed in there. So this should be the rear. Because that'll fit right on that bushing. Right?
Yeah.
And then there should be another piece to that. Yeah, here it is. Take those. So that's going to be on this side here. Alright, so let's see if we can set up the camera and not kill ourselves. So what I did do is I put the little stand jacks underneath the axle to hold it in place. Okay. So let's slide this forwards, and then put your piece in first. Let's give it kind of a kick and see if you can get it to seat in there all the way. Keep going. Now, that's got to seat in. ahead and put your nut back on there. Oh, you know what? Hold up. Oh yeah, that'll slide back down that way. So this needs to go. Let me put. Okay. Where's the bolt that came out of? Here. Alright, so now just got to slide this bolt in there. Okay, come this way just a little bit. Kick it down this way just a hair. Oh, too much. Almost there. Cool, got it. All right, and if you look here on the axle, there's a little divot, and that's what the end of this bolt slides into, so that way you know you're lined up. The base plate for the U-bolts is smaller than the new U-bolts, so I got to drill this out by 1/8 of an inch so that these will slide in, and then we'll just use everything and just bolt it all back together. So I'm going to drill that out now. All right, so we got everything in. New spring. I use the same plate with the same bolts because the other bolts are too wide and they don't fit in the bottom plate. Even though I drilled that out, they don't fit. So I may have to change that out later. Use the exact same sway bar links. Here's the new shocks. Tightened in up front. Put the sway bar back on. Put the tires back on, and that's it. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's a little bit of work, but it's not too bad. Okay, so it's the next day, and this is what it looks like. And when I measure to the fender, top of this fender, bottom of this fender well, I have 38 inches on this side, 37 on the other side. I'm thinking once I drive it a little bit, it settles in, it'll level out. It's supposed to be a 2-inch lift. When I started, I was at 34 inches here. So that's 4-inch rise, which isn't what it's supposed to do. So I'm sure it'll settle in. I had a rental truck this weekend, and I measured it with nothing in the bed of the truck, and it was measuring 35.5. So I had actually lost 1.5 inches of height just from all the stuff I have in my truck. So this definitely is a good kit. The parabolic springs are rated to take more load than just a normal spring would. So there's only 2 springs, which is less than what I had on there before, because there's, I think, 4 springs on there from before, but this will actually hold the weight that I'm doing. So when I'm fully loaded, it should still ride really smooth. Now the next step is I need to raise the front and go ahead and switch out these front springs. They're heavy load as well, because I'm going to have a CBI bumper right here, which weighs 110 pounds. Plus I'll have the winch and a light bar in there. So we need to go ahead and get that lifted up, and that'll be the next and last step. After this is all done, we'll take the truck in for an alignment, and we should be good to go. And then I may, depending on how hard it is to get in and out, I may add the steps back on the side here too. So we'll see how it goes. Tire off. Down here, this bolt down here is a 19 millimeter. These here appear to be 14 millimeters. There's 3 of those. And then this will drop down, slide the new shock in. Pretty straightforward. All right, just a quick update. You need to disconnect this sway bar, loosen those on both sides, take this out. It's a 17 millimeter because the bolt won't slide past the sway bar. To get that out, and this needs to drop down in order to get a couple of these bolts out, or these nuts off up here. So I did take the skid plate off the front so I could get access to the front of the sway bar, so I could loosen that. And then these guys right here will just kind of push out of the way. I don't know if you can see that, but you can just kind of push them off once you get that loose. This one down. It kind of only lines up one way, so you got to rotate it to get it into place. All right, so almost done with this. Not as easy as I thought. So you got your 3 bolts up top. You got 1 on the bottom. You have to take off this sway bar and loosen it up there on both sides for that to fall out of the way. The problem arose when you're putting in a longer strut than what was in there before, and I had a whole lot of trouble getting that to line up on the bottom. So I went and got a spring compressor to compress these so that I can actually get that in there. This one actually stripped out, so I had to take that bolt back out, put a new one in there, and then we should be good. If I'd gotten the upper control arms, that would have made it clear this, and this would have lowered more, and that would have enabled it to fall into place a little bit easier. But I'm not doing serious off-road, and it's a $650 upgrade to get the control arms up here, and I just decided not to do that. Maybe I'll regret it, I don't know. But anyway, I still have the other side to finish. I have everything in. Still got to put the bottom bolt in. So I got a buddy coming over, Dan. You've seen him in one of my videos before, and he's going to help me finish this up. All right, so I got everything put back together. It was a lot more work for the front than I expected. The top slides in really easily. The bottom bolt, because the strut is a little bit longer, was really hard to get in. So we ended up using some ratchet straps and things like that to get it in. And then on both sides, that bottom bolt stripped out. So I went to Home Depot and got some 1/2 inch by 3 inch long shear resistant bolts and used those because Nissan's closed on Sunday. But yeah, so that's the front. Really helps if you have 2 people. But what I wanted to do was take a tape measure. Now before I put it in, I was at 34 inches. So now we're at 37. So that front has risen 3 inches. And I was at 34 back here, and we are at 38 right now. So hopefully that'll settle in a little bit, but that gave me a lot more than a 2-inch lift. I didn't really want a lot more than a 2-inch lift because I can feel it getting in and out of the truck, but I think it looks good. And I'm not going to go with larger tires. I'm going to keep the same size tires. When these wear out, I'm probably going to put some KO2s or something like that on there. But yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks good. You definitely feel like you're riding higher, and it rides really, really smooth. So I like that. Let's see what this side has. This side was a little bit shorter. So this one's at 37. And then here we're at 37. So it's not exactly the same on each side. Hopefully that'll settle in after a little bit. I'll get the alignment and everything done, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to help. It's not too bad, but I really did spend 4 hours for the back end, probably spent 4 hours for the front. So you're looking at a good 8 hours to put in this lift kit. It was a lot harder to put in than what it is on the Jeeps. The Jeeps are actually pretty simple to put in. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.